Hi again then guys, and welcome to episode 9 of Forget Your Warranty, the review series for Gran Turismo's selection of aftermarket tuner cars, some of which are, as you'd expect, competition based, be it time attack or racing series. Others are more street spec, be it complete packages or showcases of what an aftermarket tuning company has available. And some are drift machines, such as this car. Now this is one of two vehicles currently available from the Blitz dealership on Gran Turismo. Both are of course based on the 4-door ER34 Skyline sedans. I personally prefer this version, which is the older non-premium car. The new one to me just doesn't look quite right. I'm not really sure about what I think of that car. This car I really like the look of. I'm a huge fan of the Skyline sedan. I wish we had some of the production spec Skyline sedans on the game. But for now at least, these are as close as we can get to having Skyline sedans in their natural state. Now this car is powered by a 2.9 litre engine. You can turbocharge it up to 734 horsepower, which is less than the newer model. 565 foot-pounds of torque, which is again a little bit less, but not by much, only about 3 pound-feet. It weighs significantly less though than the newer model. 1180 kilos compared to the newer car's 1252. So that's a pretty big difference. 72 kilos is not negligible. As far as horsepower per tonne, it puts out 622, which is really impressive given that this is not a race car, it's a drift car. So horsepower per tonne you wouldn't have thought would have as much of a bearing on a vehicle like this, but it's actually really impressive, the numbers that this car puts out. Now as far as PP, interestingly enough, even though this car's lighter and the newer car is more powerful, they both have the exact same PP. Fully tuned, 602. Interesting. As far as price, this is the cheaper of the two by 50 grand at 200,000 credits, and as I said, I do personally prefer this car. One of the reasons why I prefer it is down to the handling. It weighs less, as we said, and you can feel that difference. This car is lighter on its feet, the handling is looser, and I just prefer the steering on this car overall. It also notably, as I've mentioned before on the channel, is the only car in the game, as far as I'm aware, to feature underglow neon. It has small underglow neon lights on the side skirts, and also, obviously, most notably, the large neon grille arrangement at the front, which actually suits this car very well, I think. Now, as far as straight line performance, pretty much all of the drift cars that are on Gran Turismo aren't that great, because at the end of the day, that's not what they're designed for. They're designed to maintain their speed while they're going sideways, not to be breaking records for top speed. So it's not too surprising that even when you tune them, they're really not that good. The Hyper Sylvia from HKS, these Blitz versions, and the AEM S2000 notably, just aren't that great in a straight line. Now, they're not awful. It's not like they top out at 100 miles per hour. They're just not as fast as their power would indicate. Because, of course, 734 horsepower is a lot to be working with. And this could potentially be a very fast car, considering that it is Skyline based, and Skylines are known for being fast. Now, on the point of it being based on the R34 chassis, it does have some interesting differences, but also similarities to the more traditional Skyline GTR Coupe. One major difference is, of course, the rear-wheel drive instead of all-wheel drive. That gives it completely different steering to the normal GTRs, along with, of course, the fact that it's the sedan, so it's even longer. That gives you a fantastic counterbalance for drifting, and this, to be honest, is my go-to drift car of the aftermarket tuners. But the fact that it is rear-wheel drive also gives it an interesting twist on how good the Skylines are as track cars, and that's a really interesting thing about this car, and about a couple of the other drift cars as well, and that is, people only think of them as drift cars. They never think of these cars as being a challenge. If someone sees you in a lobby and you pull out the Blitz Skyline, either of them, or if you pull out the HKS Sylvia or the AEMS 2000, you're not going to intimidate anyone. They're going to think, what on earth is that guy doing pulling out a drift car? He doesn't stand a chance. And that, especially in the case of this car, can work to your advantage. Because people are so overwhelmed, it seems, subconsciously by the showy paint and the sideways action of drifting, that they forget this is a Skyline we're talking about. And as such, this is a much better competition vehicle than people think. And I don't think it's so much that people underestimate the car, I think it's more a case that people just don't think of it as a competition car at all, because it's just not what it's designed for. The thing is, though, this makes an excellent competition car. It's a great handling track car. And the fact that it has 734 horsepower means that even though the top speed isn't necessarily amazing, the acceleration is more than good enough, especially for its PP. 734 horsepower at 602 pp is a pretty healthy ratio to be working with. Now, is this going to beat everything at, say, the 600 pp level? No, of course not. But for 200 grand, a huge amount of power, excellent handling, and surprisingly low weight, this car has a deceptively good racing package, and that makes it a good multi-purpose vehicle. You can drift it, but if you so choose, you could have a separate setup to race this car. So overall, if you're looking for definitely not an obvious choice of competition vehicle that can drift as well, definitely check out this car. But that's it for this episode. I'll see you guys next time, and as always, thanks for watching.